So I often chat to my students about where they are in their studies and how I was in my studies and the comparison between them. So the difference between the fixed and growth mindset that I've spoken about before, I want to clarify, and I just want to talk a little bit about my journey I call myself as a fixer. I'm a fixed mindset. So I just want to talk through what I mean when I say that, and perhaps it'll touch a few nerves along the way of people that haven't have had the same challenges. So I most definitely have a fixed mindset, and I believe instinctively, and have always in my life believed that intelligence is static. I'm either, and let me talk about me, I'm either smart or I'm not. And I have spent most of my life stressing about and wanting to look smart. I've been so terrified that I'm not going to look smart. You know, that if I do this, if I do that, what will people think of me? What will people think of me? And it's not because I'm so arrogant that I believe that I'm the smartest person around. It just is because I'm so terrified of not looking smart, of someone thinking that I'm stupid, that I hang on to this. I got really, really great marks at school. You know, I did kind of work, but the good marks did come easily to me, and so they kind of created this idea that I was smart, and you must never lose that. You know, never ever lose that. I was praised a lot for being smart. You know. So avoiding challenges, you know, as one of the characteristics, it's not that I did ever avoid a lot of challenges. You know, my studying was incredibly hard. It was incredibly difficult. And sometimes I'm not actually quite sure why I pushed through, because I was very negative about them and very terrified that I would fail. But outside of my studying, in my life in general, you know, challenges that I can avoid that might make me look stupid, I'll avoid like the plague. Playing sports, doing hobbies, you know, any kind of adventuring, doing something new, I will avoid because I don't want to look stupid. I want to try something that I might fail. My studies was different because I had a very specific objective and I worked towards that. But the rest of my life, anything I'm not sure of, I try and avoid because I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to seem stupid. Giving up easily again in my studies, I didn't give up. I really didn't give up. I kept on going in the face of many, many obstacles. But in the rest of my life, I do struggle. When I hit an obstacle, it's too easy for me to believe that it just wasn't meant to be, or it's just not who I am, rather than, you know, persisting and going forward and finding something new or a different way of doing things. I'm worried that the obstacle means that I won't be able to do it. You know, if I failed it once before, I'll never be able to do it again. It means that I'm not able to do this. And so, you know, you kind of avoid the challenges, you avoid the obstacles, and you give up easily. I've put a lot of effort and I've worked really, really hard in my life and in my studies. And I think what this meant for me, what I realized when I went through this mindset stuff, is that the effort I had, you know, the more that I needed to put work in when I moved up levels in university, the more stupid I felt. At school, although I did work, the marks came easily. When I started university, I was still working really, really hard, and the marks just went like this. You know, the marks just kept dropping, and I was working harder than ever. And that really challenged my label of, but you were smart at school, something must be wrong. You've become stupid, because clearly if you were still as smart as you used to be, then you wouldn't have to work so hard. Like, clearly, if you've got to be putting in so much effort, this is clearly not meant to be yours. And it's clearly, you know, it's very obvious that you don't have talent. You know, if you have to work this hard at stuff, then surely you're stupid. You know, and this is how I saw my stuff. You know, I just really wasn't willing to put any effort in the rest of my life. You know, I always struggled with exercise. I've never wanted to exercise. I've never really been happy with my body shape and what I look like. But the idea of having to put effort in just didn't occur to me, because you either, you know, are slim or you're not slim, and I wasn't. And so therefore, there's nothing I can do about that. And if you have to put effort in, you know, it clearly means that you weren't meant to have that label. This effort thing is a weird one, but I think all of us that do have fixed mindsets can kind of understand when you see it, that if you have to work so hard at something, then clearly it wasn't meant to be yours, or it's an indication that you're actually stupid because you've got to work so hard to do something so simple. The criticism, it's not an arrogance. You know, not accepting criticism is not about being arrogant. For me, it's not the criticism is not ignored, or I don't want it because I'm arrogant and I think I know everything. It's just that my label of how I feel, and I'm so terrified that people are going to think that I'm stupid, that if they do criticize me, it breaks absolutely everything down and I can't hear anything. People can give me 10 compliments and 1 criticism, and all I will hear is the criticism and focus on that, and everything else will become white noise, and I can't cope, and my world is falling apart. And instead of taking the lesson from that, or instead of accepting it as something to learn from, I'm thinking about it as I'm so bad, I'm so terrible, I'm so stupid, I'm so awful, I'm so, everybody thinks I'm so stupid. And so you effectively ignore feedback. You don't do anything about it because you're so terrified. You run away, lock yourself in a room, and you just can't deal with it because clearly I'm so stupid. And you never get past the fact that clearly I'm stupid. You don't get to a point where you go, oh, well, that was a stupid thing to do. Now let me learn from it. You hide away. You kind of run away. The success of others, feeling threatened by the success of others, because I feel like I need a label. I always looked around at people around me, and I do still struggle with that. When I see other people doing stuff that I've wanted to, or that I wanted to, or I haven't been able to do, or even stuff that I've never wanted to do, but they're doing, it makes me feel less because they're more. When I compare myself to them and I go, well, they can do that and I can't, therefore I must be stupid. If they can do that and I can't, then therefore I must be stupid. So it makes me feel threatened. In reality, it's got absolutely nothing to do with each other. What I do and what they do has got nothing to do with each other. But I can only really understand, or you can only measure your success as a fixed mindset if you're continually comparing with everyone else around you. And if you're coming up in front of everyone else, then you feel like you're safe, you're okay, you look smart. If you're coming up behind other people, then all of a sudden your label is kind of, is damaged. So for me, the fixed mindset, I relate to extremely well. And there's, the next phase in my life is going to be a huge challenge in terms of this mindset. It's held me back a lot in my life up to now, but from where we are at the moment, moving into working more for myself and not relying on a salary, it's going to be really interesting that I can't avoid the challenges of working for myself, that risk of whether or not my ideas are going to make money, whether or not I can actually make money on my own. There's going to be obstacles that I'm not going to be able to give up. I'm going to have to put effort in. If I don't put effort in, nothing's going to happen. So it's a catch-22. I'm going to have to put effort in. I'm going to have to take on feedback, criticism. Otherwise, I'm never going to get anywhere. And the success of others, I need to find inspiration from it, and the possibility that I could be as successful, as opposed to thinking, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, I can't do this, I don't have ideas, I'm not smart, I'm not creative, and all I want to do is make sure that I protect what people think of me. So if this in any way, shape, or form sounds anywhere near similar to yours, then follow my journey, follow my stuff, we'll talk through it. And the benefit, or the good part of this, is that there is hope, and in understanding that this is what you struggle with, you can start changing the way that you do things, or the way that you see things. And hopefully at some point in time, I can develop more of a natural growth mindset rather than my fixed mindset.